relationship, perhaps it's resentment. I want to challenge you now. It's time to let go. There's something about excess baggage. It does this thing where it weighs you down. Excess baggage is like walking forward while looking backwards. You're bound not to go too far. Perhaps this excess baggage is causing pain in your life, physical pain, mental pain. And what do I say? If it doesn't serve you, it doesn't deserve you. So today, tomorrow, and forever always, it's time to let go of the excess baggage and pack light.
All right, close your eyes. 3 deep, slow breaths. You are only as light as the baggage you carry. Every action and reaction comes from our excess baggage. It speaks for us, it reacts for us, and it ultimately holds us. So wherever you're at, keep the eyes closed, blow all the air out. I want you to take a long, slow, deep inhale. And on the exhale, you're going to imagine, visualize, feel, see yourself removing one backpack. And then you'll take a long, slow, deep breath. And on the exhale, you'll remove the second backpack. And one more time, long, slow, deep inhale. Exhale, and we remove one more backpack. So for some of you, this is closure. You've been working on letting go of this excess baggage for a long time. And for some of you, this is the beginning. This is the beginning of your journey to be able to let go.
Hey, hey.
Hi.
Miriam, we're back.
Back. It's been a whole week, and I feel like it was just yesterday we were here.
We were. And it was great. I enjoyed you.
I enjoyed us. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. That's why we're back.
So talk to me. How do you feel about this whole idea of excess baggage?
I want to talk about this more, but I have to acknowledge Shelly. And Shelly, I don't have my glasses on. It's Shelly, right? If it doesn't serve you, it doesn't deserve you. I've been excited about this all week. I have a whiteboard here, and it's solely for Miss Dawn. And we're going to write down all of these incredible things she says. So I went the extra mile. I even got myself a little bell. So when she says it, I can stop us. But Shelly did exactly what I was hoping someone would do, which is remember it, because I couldn't stop her. And I had my moment coming up. And I was like, God, I hope someone remembers what she just said. So I have to write it down. Let's see if I can do it without knocking over my entire set. A smaller one.
So, okay. So we're going to do this. So thank you, Shelly. Thank you, Miriam, for making this possible. Throughout the show, Miriam had pointed it out. She's like, Dawn, you say such great things. Like, we got to make sure we aggregate this. And I have so many people are like, Dawn, where's your book? Dawn, when are you putting the quotes on? And I was like, you know what? We ought to get this going. And half the time, I'm not even for certain what's coming out my mouth. I'm just speaking. But I guess we can call it like, some golden nuggets. You know?
Dawn's golden nuggets. Even though that could sound, it could go a couple ways. That could go a couple ways. Wait, can I go full screen to show the whiteboard that I'm so ridiculous?
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, look. See? Okay, but it has to be smaller, and my writing is super messy. But that's okay. I'm going to type it up for us, so we'll see it after.
Right. Okay, but we're building, and that's what it's about.
We are. It's so, can I just say how funny this was? Because I was like, oh my God, Dawn, I have a bell and I have a whiteboard. And she's like, what if we move this to the 2023 and we use electronics and we use an app that's a bell and a whiteboard? And I was like, whoa, they have that now? I didn't even think of it though. I didn't. My brain was like in 3rd grade, like in school, where I was like, I'm going to get a pen and I'm going to get paper and we're going to write this down. Okay, so excess baggage. Okay. Has it ever occurred to any of us that have you this has this ever occurred to you? Okay, so you know what it feels like to be carrying a really heavy purse or a really big backpack, right?
Hmm.
It affects how you walk, it affects how quickly you get tired, and it can affect your mood because you're focused and concentrating on carrying something extra. And that can all be applied to our emotional experience when we're carrying excess baggage, when we're carrying stuff we don't need anymore. And to be fair, it's not about getting to a place in life where you have no baggage. That's not even humanly possible unless you choose to be a monk on a hill. And we are not in a time where monks, I honor and love monks. This is not anything against monks. They're
We're shot
important.
at the monks today, people. We're just making an analogy here.
I continue the work. But for me and for what I teach, I like to teach us to come down from the hill and be amongst the people with that same sense of balance. It's incredibly hard. But with that being said, it's not about being baggage free. It's about recognizing when you start to feel the heaviness.
Oh, catch it, catch it, catch it.
Mm, there you go. So, yeah, that was an analogy that I felt like was just so obvious. But the obvious stuff is the most healing stuff, to let's be honest, right? Like if even for me that was so obvious because your everything about you shifts when you're carrying emotionally or physically extra that you don't need anymore.
Right. And it oftentimes weighs you down, it slows you down. And like I was saying earlier, half the time it's like you're trying to go forward and you're actually looking backwards. How does that serve you? If it doesn't serve you, it doesn't deserve you. But here's the thing, I'm wondering how often do we realize how much baggage we're carrying?
Mm,
Do
mhm,
we recognize it? Because I feel like we go on with life so oftentimes that we're holding on to so much that it becomes the norm. Then
mhm.
we wake up one day and we realize that we have sickness, we got ailments, we got different stresses that are happening in the body. And we have to look up and say, how did we get here?
Mhm. We become so used to that. And the younger your trauma, or trauma is a really big word. For some of us, it's just junk stuff, pain, emotional suffering. Everyone has it. The
Mhm.
younger that starts, the longer we carry it, and the more common, natural, safe we don't know life without it, and so it becomes like a safety blanket, it becomes like a place of identification because the thought of not having it is very uncomfortable.
And not realizing how free it can actually make us feel.
Hmm.
And I feel like oftentimes excess baggage comes in the form of shame.
Hmm.
Where we think that we're hiding are extra things that we are actually carrying. And it comes to a point where you just have to say, pack light.
Hmm.
It actually reminded me of the track. I don't know if you heard it, Erica Badu. She has
Hmm.
a track called Bag Lady. And I actually made a vitamin D quick dose about that because what she says in the song is all you must hold on to is you. Half the time, we're trying to pull so many things in our past, oftentimes trying to collect things in the future, not realizing that the gift is just being in the present, right here, right now. Because that's what matters.
Hmm.
We can't change back what happened yesterday. We damn sure can't predict what's happening in the future. We can claim it and profess what it is that we want. But rather than having all these things engulf our minds of what we think we should, could, woulda, had, done, all this kind of stuff, we can't do that.
Hmm.
And I'm interested even hearing with you with the kind of work that you do. How does this form with people in their bodies and their emotions and different interactions that people have? Because sometimes we're looking to join in different relationships, wondering why an opportunity isn't coming our way. But missing the whole idea is because you so busy holding on to something you have no business holding on to.
Right. um so it affects, this is where illness begins because it creates an imbalance in the body.
Mm.
Um, this is one of the places, I should say, where illness begins, because obviously our DNA and the environment and poor air quality. So we don't want to add to that by carrying this excess baggage. It also blocks our intuition, and it also influences, like I said earlier, it influences your reactions and your actions on a daily basis, because you are ultimately reacting and responding from the baggage you're carrying, because that baggage you're carrying is what embodies you, and it's where our reactions come from. So if you have this response to someone overpowering or controlling you, when you're in an environment where maybe there's a boss and they're on paper, they're not that controlling, but because you carry that baggage, you carry that reaction and action to it, you feel something that is magnified that the average person may not feel. And we all do that in different places in our life. And that's how it affects your relationships, right? Because when you do try to have a healthy relationship and you're talking it out and you're saying, well, when I was younger, this is what happened, or my past or my history has shown that people will do XYZ, that's all your baggage. That's yours. So how are you going to fix that? Therapy, meditation, yoga, exercise. That's how we
Breathing.
work on
Simply just breathing.
it. Simply just
I feel
breathing.
like a lot of, even with these methods, it's just acceptance of yourself and realizing the space that you take up and realize that you're worthy of the space that you take up.
Mhm.
Um, I think also, just when you talk about relationships and, you get into a disagreement about something, you realize that something that's happened to you in the past is now affecting what's happening in your current situation. And one of the things I think it's important to realize is, how do you identify a baggage of something you should let go? What does it look like to you? Because I think sometimes it can come in the form of second guessing yourself.
Mhm. Absolutely. Um, that's where the work begins, because a lot of us don't even know what's in that backpack. You
Oh,
know,
oh my gosh. My sister, she had brought this analogy at one point. I don't know, whoever, if you travel a lot, if you're packing a lot, you come home from your trip, right? You got certain people that are going to go ahead and unpack the luggage right then and there. Then
Mhm.
you have some people that are going to have it sit there right in the middle of the floor, right there in the corner, and not even touch it.
Mhm.
The idea of taking things out and placing them where they actually belong overwhelms. Not
Mhm.
realizing that the space that you are allowing even this certain luggage to take up is causing havoc on your life.
Mm.
Either way, both are going to require us to do the work. And I think sometimes we omit the fact that there is a such thing called sweat equity. It's
Mhm.
going to cost you something, but now you have to look at the end result and see at the end, what does that reward yield? What does it look like for you? And then you have to ask yourself, okay, what do you really want?
Mhm.
What do you want? What do you want from your life? What do you want from your relationship? What do you want right here and right now?
I'm going to write that down. What do you want? It just felt really important. Um,
And I just want to say this too. I actually have the phone line connected. If anybody would like to call in, you can call us in here right now. Yes, call us right now. The number is 323. Let me put it up for you. 323-285-1381. 323-285-1381. If you want to call us right now and there's something that you want to address specifically, perhaps some baggage that you are carrying, and perhaps you want to know how to let it go, because we're talking on an emotional sense. But Miriam, what about baggage and things that can actually cause different energies, whether it come in the form of depression, to come upon us?
yeah, whatever you're carrying is going to be a reflection of your life experiences. It's going to be what you draw to you. So I'm sure everyone's kind of talked about how, God, I keep drawing the same person into my life, or I keep drawing the same boss, right? Or the same life experience. And so on one hand, we don't want to be victimized and be like, why does this keep happening to me? And on the other hand, we have to be able to say, why do I keep drawing this to me? And so, you were saying earlier, you have to put in the sweat equity, you have to put in the work. It's like, it's it's just understood that you need a certain amount of hours to sleep, and everyone tries to get success. Like everyone goes to bed at night and sleeps at some point. Everybody brushes their teeth, but when it comes to healing, all of a sudden it's a lot of work,
Mm.
right? If you want to lose
It
weight,
requires you to feel. In order to heal, you have to feel. But
mhm.
not everybody's trying to feel, Miriam.
And wait, say it in or oh, that's your money's worth. That was a $5 bell. And what did you say? In order to feel, you have to heal.
In order to heal,
Mhm.
you have to feel. Healing requires feeling.
Okay, hold on, one thing at a time. Healing requires. No one's gonna be able to read my writing. Only me.
And I think we got so much into a society, or just today's an age. What am I trying to say? In today's society, we've gotten so used to the whole notion of numbing ourselves in distraction that we can't tell what life is like if we're not being numbed or distracted.
To be fair, the planet we live on in right now today is dark. It's dark and it's scary, and I completely understand why we numb. I get it, and the temptation is overwhelming for good reason, because even if everything is okay in your life right now, knock on wood, it's not okay outside, right? I won't even start to list the fear, right? For good reason. That every time you turn around, something is happening. And so, when I was a kid, I was able to just be a kid, and I didn't have school shootings. I didn't have global warming. I didn't have that stuff to be concerned with. And so adults and children now today, even if everything's okay at home, that's in the back of our minds to a certain degree for everybody. And so the desire to numb that is,
Mm.
I understand. But if you genuinely want to be able to make a difference in your life and then make a difference in other people's lives, even if it's just your immediate family, we have to slowly start to pull ourselves away from the numbing. And whatever that's different for everybody, right? For some people, it's social media. For other people, like for me, it's not social media, but it might be just, getting lost in television, and there's something wrong with doing that sometimes. There's something wrong with it. But just checking yourself, right? Checking yourself. If you get up and you did your breath work, even if it's just for 60 seconds,
Mm.
you went out and took a walk, right? You did a little journaling, or you saw your therapist that week. Great, you're doing the work. That's all I ask. That's all anyone asks. And I ask you to do that just so you can be happy. You
Mm.
can be balanced. You can be okay, not for any other reason other than for you.
And I
Jane.
like the whole notion of balance, because that just brings us back to what we're talking about today of excess baggage and what we're holding on to. It doesn't mean that you're not going to ever pick up anything, but it's also a moment where you have to figure out when is it time to put it down. Sometimes it's not your weight to carry for forever. Sometimes you got to carry a little something just to build up your endurance, just to acquire that strength, just to get you to the next step. But then after that, it's time to let it go. But then it comes to the point how we cannot discern, or perhaps we're unable to discern when it's time to let go. Sometimes we're holding on to so many things that it starts to affect our body. There starts to be growths within our body. Like they say, like the number one killer in today's age, or probably since forever, is stress. What do we know about stress? Stress is a blockage. Stress is a contraction, so much so that things cannot flow. And everything that you've been talking about, whether it's journaling, whether it's yoga, whether it's meditation, whether it's seeing your therapist, it's all about letting it flow. Your energy, your words, your spirit, yourself.
It's imperative for survival at this point. It's just survival, so that you can survive in a balanced, more joyful way versus a way that pushes us into a state of constant fear and doubt, because that's going to be there anyway. Fear, we're not saying that you should be joyful 24/7. That's not normal. But you should have those things that you can do, when you feel overwhelmed. I know, whether that thing is like, I know if I go and take a yoga class, or if I know I just go out and take a walk If I know I have this one meditation song and it works every time to bring me back to balance, not perfection, not perfect, just where I'm not suffering.
Okay, so that's your jam, going out for a walk?
Well, no, I mean, I go into meditation and I mean, I'll sit in meditation for a long time. I'm not saying that I've been meditating for a long time. So that's my go-to. But what for people that aren't there yet or don't meditate or don't want to, how powerful is a freaking walk outside with your phone left behind?
Mm.
I mean, we like, and here's what's interesting is you said when I was listing like yoga, meditation, journaling, blah blah, and then you said or just breathe, and really all those things, yoga, meditation, journaling, all it does is center you on your breath. Even journaling, it just centers you on your breath.
And it requires you to be so present. So you
Yeah.
don't have time to really be tripping about what just happened then or what's about to happen. Because even in yoga, you're in a moment of breath work, but also how are you stretching and how are you moving your body, even when you are in uncomfortable positions or
Mhm,
situations, or better yet, circumstances when it comes to life. But let
mhm,
me ask you this. You said you can understand how we can come into a society or we can live in today's day and age where we distract ourselves or we numb ourselves.
mhm.
Hey, hey, it's a judge, it's a safe space, right, Miriam?
Absolutely. No
Okay,
one's watching. We're good. It's just between
okay.
you and
I,
me.
I just got to make sure that I'm talking to some real people right now. Put a heart up if somebody is real right now. Hey, Leslie, what are your thoughts on someone that may resort to smoking, whether it be cannabis or nicotine, or even somebody that may resort to drinking?
Mhm.
And then further within that, I want to step upon. I've heard this whole thing, and I'm wondering what your thoughts on are about it. That alcohol contains spirits. There are energies in alcohol, and if you actually were to see, hey, I could be reaching here. If you've ever noticed that a lot of alcohol brands, they have these symbols that look like, I'm not gonna say demonic, but like I'm just first one come to mind, like Bacardi, like hello,
Mhm.
they call
So
them wine and spirits. Is there a reason for that?
it's a good question. Um, you know, when I was young, I partied and all I did was drink. I never did drugs. If you guys want to hear a funny story, I tried to smoke pot once and I smoked the joint backwards and burned
Oh,
my mouth. Yeah, so clearly I'm a terrible pot smoker. So that's not happening again. But when I would drink, I was more intuitive.
really?
And the reason for it was simply because I was relaxed and I wasn't fighting and pushing away that intuition.
Catch it.
So that could be where that comes from. That that's just the truth. You're relaxed and you will see and feel things. If you are already prone to it and it's already kind of in your face, I'm not alcohol does not make you do that. It depends on where you're at in that development because my psychic ability was already there. And right in front of me, anytime I was even a little bit more relaxed, it would open it up. And so I know that that is true for others, but that's why some people have the experience and some people don't. But the alcohol isn't, it's just that the alcohol basically relaxes you. Now, who knows? A neurologist might say it does something to the brain also. I don't know that, but it's not the alcohol itself that has spirits in it.
Mm.
That helps because the truth is that the energy and spirits, all of that is around us all the time. We are part of a massive universe. It is around us all the time. When you relax yourself just enough to feel,
To feel so you can heal.
and that, on that same on that same vein, last week we had this question and I wanted to go a little bit deeper because it applies to what we're just talking about. When we sleep, right, we're relaxed to a certain degree. Okay. And so in your dreams, you can have a lot of psychic experiences, you can have a lot of healing experiences, but and it's because you're relaxed. So most people will have their psychic, their most profound psychic experiences in their sleep, because it's the only time they will allow themselves to do it. But even when it comes to your dreams and sleeping, there has to be a sense of managing the mind. And even when we're awake, managing the mind is what journaling, yoga, meditation, and therapy does. So the mind isn't controlling. There's nothing wrong with the mind. We want it to be balanced with the heart and the gut, but not overwhelming us. Because even in our dreams, when the brain is what's overwhelming the dream, it's just nonsensical pain, suffering, fear. But if you're balancing the mind regularly, it's going to affect your dreams, and your dreams will have a more healing, intuitive approach. Same with the same honestly goes with alcohol. If you're working to balance yourself regularly, you won't be drawn to alcohol, but you'll still go out. Like, I'll go out and have a drink every now and then. And even then, you're more relaxed. You're going to feel more.
You know, because it's a safe space. Because it's a safe space. I myself, like, although like I pretty much have really stopped and pulled back from indulging in cannabis, I would feel that way, that oftentimes like I can understand things more deeply, or perhaps because my nervous system is more calm and relaxed, so I'm present. Although you hear what happens to people, the very opposite is that they become very anxious. And I guess it just depends where you are and where you are on the spectrum with it. Because just as though some people can drink and it relaxes them, they say that when they get in the older age, my mom could only drink a beer. No, she was never a heavy drinker, but I noticed that when she would talk about in her older years, 35 and up, one can of beer, and hey, Janice she was leaning. But I feel like it goes back to what we were saying within anything. And just like we understand with the yin and the yang, it's all about the balance.
Absolutely. At
Just
the end of the day,
we can't operate in this life as there's not light and there's not darkness. And I love what you said about last week. And I hope that we continue to explore this conversation when it permits and as it permits, of how we all need to be aware and in tune with our very own psychic ability. Because oftentimes when people think of psychics and they think of readers, they think of something demonic. They think of something evil, as if you're conjuring up something. And it's like, well, we say it all the time, whether you go into prayer and into meditation, to go within. And all of this is coming from within. It isn't requiring you to put anything or place anything on anyone else, only yourself.
Absolutely. And your story that you shared, if you guys didn't watch last week, you should check it out, because the story, Dawn, your own personal experiences, was a great example of saying, when you were seeing, you saw the spirit of your uncle, was it?
Yeah, but that wasn't a dream. Yeah, I saw him.
You were awake, yeah. But that when you saw the spirit of your uncle, that is no different than any other psychic experience anyone else would have. So why is that one considered okay and healing, but then something that a psychic does could be considered demonic or wrong? It's the same experience. Now, yes, if someone's conjuring evil spirits, yes, that's not the thing to do. But for people that, like myself, who are just born psychic, and you see things whether you want to or not, you're going to see the dark and the light. Not good, not bad, just is. Why is one good and one is not? Or why is one?
Why is that?
Why does society do that?
Yes. And how come one isn't good and one isn't bad? Especially when we think of darkness or dark spirits, we think of taunting, but you're here to say that it's not necessarily a bad thing?
So energy is what it is. And what we do with it is what can turn it into something negative or positive. So I work with a lot of clients who have actual dark or demonic experiences. And when you start to look back, and that's what I do, was I start to look back.
Hold on, Mary. You're just going to skip over this, that you're working with clients who have dark and demonic experiences, and you're not going to tell us anything about this? You're just
or they had an alien abduction. This is real. It happens. And for a lot of people, they've lived most of their life with it, and didn't know what to do with it or why it was happening or how to stop it. But once you dig into their life experience, what they're bringing to the table compared to what this energy is doing there, why that energy is there, what its purpose is, there's a teaching in that for the human.
Catch it.
Nothing is without purpose.
Hmm.
Just like there is divine intervention, just like everything happens for a reason, just like, you know, when something good happens in your life and you're like, everything just aligned. Everything just aligns, even when something really ugly happens, because the universe is in order. The planet may not be, but the universe is in order. And when you can align yourself with the energies of the universe or God, whichever you choose, right? Same energy. When you align yourself with it, you will always experience both, because both exist always. The good, the bad always exist. It's which one you choose to engage in or not engage in. But it's not about ignoring or not seeing. It's about just, okay, just like any situation in life. See the whole thing. Don't just focus on the positive. See the whole thing. And then make your decision from there.
It's like a storm. The storm is coming down, but there's good that can come from the storm, because when we see water, there's life, right? And things start to grow and things start to populate. You know, just like on my podcast, before we get to this question, it's called vitamin D. Vitamin D is the light. You get light from the sun. And when you talk about the light, it shines on the good and the bad, because if you want to be better and you want to do better, you're going to have to be able to see better, not just see in this lane, not just see behind this path, not to just see in this direction, but to have a 360 view about what's happening around, for, and against you in your life. Because it isn't about how life happens to you. It's about how you choose to happen to life.
Okay, there's too many things in there. If you want to do better and see better and be better, you have to
do better. You have to be able to see better.
Be better.
Stay tuned for the book, y'all. It's coming.
I'm writing it right now. You have to see better. And then you said something right at the end and I forgot. This is why we need a third person. It was too fast. I couldn't ring my bell. Okay. What do you remember what that last thing was you said?
Probably. Does anybody be better, do better? You have to be able to see better, because
someone will remember.
Okay, and since we're talking about back and things coming to fruition or coming to light, Toya on the move, she says, can you bring spirits back after you tell it to leave?
Whoa. So my question to Toya is, are you saying I told the spirit to leave, but now I want it to come back because I feel bad and I want to engage? Or are you saying I told the spirit to leave, will it still come back even if I asked it to leave and I don't want it to come back? Do you see the difference? Let me know, Toya, in the comments which one it is, and then they both apply, but for the sake of time, let me know which one and I can answer that for you.
So while she gets her comment and it populates up, I have a question to you. So what do you do if you find yourself in your place of residence? Maybe you find yourself out and about, or specifically when you're coming in a certain situation. How can you get rid of a spirit?
You mean like on the fly, in a sense? Like you're just living your life and it's there?
For instance, salt. Do you need to spray things around your house?
So here's the thing. There's psychics that'll give you very specific rules. This is what you do. This is what it looks like. It's different for everyone. And let me tell you why. Because that experience is there to teach you. There's a reason why this is happening to you. And once we get to the reason why it's happening to you, then we can determine how to remove it. And ultimately, removal in my line of work, for what I do, how I work, every time I remove, it's different for everybody, because everyone is different and their lesson is different. And the reason why that spirit is there is different. That's why a lot of times if someone removes it and it comes back or it doesn't change, it's because they didn't get to the heart of why it was there in the first place. Spirits and like demons don't just wander around messing with people. They really don't. There's a reason why it's happening specifically to you. Because if that was the case, it would be happening 24/7. The spirit scared me and it was very dark and dark in the room, but it was also my twin. So I told them to leave, but that means I can't see them anymore. Right. Okay. There's a lot.
Wait, Toya, what do you mean your twin? Like somebody that has transitioned? The spirit. I need you to understand some more, Toya.
Toya, this is deep. We need more. Because you're saying it was very dark, but it was your twin. So I'm guessing if it was your twin, it wouldn't be dark. Let's hear. Oh, thank God. We're both like, what?
Oh, okay.
I had a set of twins. A birthday passed away. And after they passed away, they came to me in darkness. Oh my God, Toya, you lost your twins? I have to sit with that for a minute because that's really.
She said yes.
Okay, well, I apologize. We were laughing and getting all into it, and then that's not funny. That's really painful. Okay. Okay. Toya, I'm so sorry. Can I ask, do you mind me asking when they came to you? If you can say no, do you mind sharing what that felt like, what that experience was for you?
And Toya, I just want to encourage you, if you'd like to call us, I would love to hear you share. Here's the number, and perhaps you can talk to Miriam right on the fly right now. Here's the number, but Miriam, please continue as you answer her.
Yeah, or however you want to do it. She said she'll call. Okay, so let's hang.
Let's hang. I didn't test it on this app, but usually it works, so we should be good.
All right. Now, well, what were we thinking to get through 1 hour without shedding a tear? It was bound to happen in my work.
But just like the yin and the yang, the good and the bad. And I feel like just as with this conversation and with anything, we're going to learn something.
Call from.
Hello there.
We're going to learn. Hello.
Hi.
Hello there.
Miriam, can you hear?
Hi, Toya. I can hear.
Oh, Toya, can you turn down your computer if you have it on?
Toya, I can hear. Okay, let me turn my phone down a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, so
I had a set of twins at birth. They passed away, and when they passed away, I was able to go home after, very sad and distraught. Okay, so the whole house was pitch black dark, and my room was all the way in the back, and I seen two darker shadows come towards me, and it scared the hell out of me. So I didn't know what to do but tell them to leave. Now, I really wanted them to come back because I never really was able to tell them bye because they were babies. They were little. One was 1 pound, one was not even a pound at 5.5 months. So, I mean, that's what I was saying. I could see dark and light, and the darkness was this one.
Got it.
That hurt the most.
And that hurt the most. Okay. Did they have names?
I was a little confused, so that's why I asked you the question.
Absolutely. Did they have names? Did you name them yet?
No. I can't.
No?
Can you hear me?
Yes, she was asking, did they have names, and did you name them yet?
I did name them. They passed. One is Cherie and one is Marlon. They passed. They would have been 23.
They would have been 23?
Yeah. My daughter's 22. So, yeah, 23.
Okay. So let me start here. So first off, your babies are your teachers. And so they are always there for you. You're never going to scare them off or push them away or say, even though in that moment, in that moment, you were overwhelmed and in shock. So So I can feel them, and they are, hang on. I can feel them, and they're the ones telling me this. So they've never gone away. They have always been there. They understood. See, beings, when we cross over, when we're out of body, we understand human behavior, and I almost want to say the like mistakes we can make. And so they understood even then that that wasn't you saying, I don't ever want to see you again, that you were grieving. And so, and in shock. But also, these spirits, like there's this, it's like I see a triangle with the three of you, because the three of you are so connected from so many lifetimes and as soulmates, that what you experienced was so visceral, because you had just experienced them physically, and now you're experiencing the depths of their soul. And that is a lot for someone in your position at that time to experience. That is a lot for someone to experience in a normal day, never mind after what you have just endured. So yes, absolutely, they are there, they are ready. You can still connect with them, communicate with them. They're always there for you. The fact that it was dark and it scared you simply has to do with the shock that you were in and the grieving process that you were in. It has nothing to do with them being dark beings. It has to do with it also, though, they're saying it also has to do with, like, I can't describe how close you guys are, and so it's almost as if they're saying the closer we were, the more not depth, but like I can't think of the word they're describing. So, for example, when someone has passed over and they've been passed on for a while, they've gone through different dimensions, different levels, and they're this very white, translucent, right? It's like like kind of what you would see on TV for some people. But because they were just embodied, and that happens so early from their passing. That's why there was that density and darkness. Is that making any sense at all?
Yes, it does. So my other question is, do you think that they? I hear myself. Sorry. So my children now, my two older kids now, do you think they have passed? My twins passed on to be my older two kids? Because you said they traveled to different dimensions. Do you think my twins are here with me now? That's why we're together.
Oh. Maybe that's why I'm feeling them so close. Wait,
my oldest.
You have two other children after
my daughter and my son is 21. No, my oldest son is 21 and my daughter is 23. And then I have a 15-year-old, but the two older ones are close.
I mean, we'll never really know, but that would explain why I keep going like this, because you're so bonded. It very well may be, if you're asking what I think you're asking, which is, did they come back in body, and are they the children you have now? My first instinct is to say yes. And honestly, people have asked me many times if someone or something, like an animal or a person, has reincarnated, and I never really felt a solid, like, I mean, anything's possible. Yeah, of course it's possible. I'm not sure if I'm feeling that, but it's possible. And just because I don't feel something doesn't mean it's right or wrong. But honestly, with this, yes, because I feel like I can't feel a separation. That is intense. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of overwhelmed. Did that make sense?
Yes, it did. Wow.
What are your kids' names?
Say it again.
What are your children's name? This 20-year-old and the 23-year-old.
Cameron and Tabitha.
Oh my God, Tabitha. As soon as you said Tabitha, I was like, I heard that's me. Tabitha is kind of she's I'm not saying she maybe she may not be like this in body, but her soul is very much kind of the leader of the pack. Her soul is very much bringing everyone together.
Yeah.
Yes, I met Tabitha, and I can attest to that.
Yeah, she's very outspoken. She's a leader.
It's a little hard to hear you, Toy, because
That's
the
one that you
reverb
met
is
up to
ringing
share
out.
that day.
I love Tabitha. I can feel her. I mean, I love them both, but Tabitha's energy is really awesome. Like,
Well, thank you so much, Toya, for calling in and sharing your story. We greatly appreciate it.
thank you, Toya.
Much.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Toya. Thank you. That was okay. Can I sum up really quick? Because can I sum up what just happened? So her twins passed, and she was asking, correct me if I'm wrong, if they reincarnated in her current children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I couldn't, when I was feeling the energy, I couldn't make sense of why I felt this. Why are they so close? They're so close. They're so close. Like, I can't feel them on the other side. And as soon as she said that, I was like, oh my God, that's why. Yes, that's them. I've never seen that before.
Wow.
That gave me chills. That's amazing.
Well, we have another one. Marcus Savage. He says, my father passed away while I was locked up, and I never got to say goodbye.
I'm sorry, Marcus. Do you mind telling us what your dad's name was?
And Marcus, if you feel free to call us, 323-285-1381. We are accepting calls in case you just wanted to call in. But Miriam, if you want to continue on. Oh, yeah. That's always a hard thing for someone to transition and not being able to see them, or I guess speak to them. But I guess when you think about it, in the spiritual realm, there are no barriers, so they can still come to you. Because you spoke about it last week. You said oftentimes when you feel that intense presence, and I remember not too long after when my mother transitioned, there was a point that I could feel her right there, to the point I was like, oh my gosh, like I felt like she was looking, like she was standing right behind me.
Wow.
It's that point of, do they know? Is that their way of saying goodbye, I guess? Or
first off, I didn't realize when did Janice pass?
That was in 2012, February 25th, 2012. But I really feel as though, like, a part of me, I felt like she transitioned a week before her actual breath left the body. But even up to that point, because they say when you transition, your hearing is the last to go. And there were certain things that I was talking to my mother about when she was in ICU that I could see how her eyes would flinch or they would move.
Interesting. Wow. I just, when you mentioned Janice earlier, I just felt this connection to her. That's why I was so interesting. I didn't realize she passed. So I'm sorry. Was there a question in that? I was just
I was just saying about the present, because I know Marcus Savage, he had talked about his father transitioning and he never got to say goodbye. And you asked the name, and he said his dad's name was Walter Savage.
Yes, thank you, Marcus. And
Marcus on the line right now.
Hello
there, Marcus.
Hey, how you doing, Ms. Don Day?
It's good to hear from you.
It's great to hear from you.
Please say hello to Miriam. She can hear you on the line as well.
Hi, Miss Miriam. How are you?
Hi, Marcus. Thanks for calling in. Walter Savage. So, Dawn brought up an interesting point, which is, you know, our okay. So,
Hello, Marcus, can you hear her? She's speaking to you now.
I can hear you, but I can't hear her.
Oh, you cannot hear her.
oh, interesting. Maybe that's
Hear
why
you loud and clear.
Toya had hers on.
I don't know if I can go back online and do that at the same
That's
time.
probably
or
why
what.
Toya had to have her line up, and then she was hearing the reverb.
Yeah. That's what I just thought too.
It's a
Yeah, I
lie.
can hear you loud and clear. Yeah. So I could just jump back on Facebook because I don't know if I can do both.
If there was, it would be extra complicated, but I guess if you had an earpiece on and then that was connected to your phone, I'll try to translate. So Miriam, what was your statement or question you had?
And Walter, remind Marcus, he can go back and watch this after. He can, well, this will post right after, so he can go back and listen to the reading.
Right.
After.
And that you can definitely go back to listen to the reading. But yeah, feel free if you need to, you can turn on your Facebook and you'll be able to hear her comments. And then we can figure out what the issue is with that.
So
and I can just type in because I'm watching the game anyway. So you know, I just wanted to make sure I reached out to you because I seen you doing your thing. But I'm proud of you. Keep going. Don't stop. Keep your foot on the gas, baby.
Okay, and then while she can hear you, what was your question that you? Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting me and always being there.
Yeah. Well, you know, my dad was a pastor, and you know, I got locked up, and it was kind of like a prodigal son type of thing, and I felt really bad when I got locked up because you know my dad was like 84 when he died, you know, so like 80 something when I went to jail, and you know, I felt bad about that whole situation. So, you know, I would really like to apologize to him and, you know, just kind of, you know, let him know that I did change my life.
So keep Marcus on the line.
She wants you to stay on the line. She's reading you right now.
Okay, so Marcus, your dad is saying something wasn't your fault.
It wasn't your fault, Marcus.
Pardon me?
Your dad is saying something wasn't your fault.
And that he believing in you was never in question. He always believed in you. He said he felt like he saw something in you that you didn't see.
He always believed in you, and he saw something in you that you didn't see.
Or don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Or you don't see.
I'm probably still struggling with some of that today. Struggling with some of that same stuff today. You know, you try to go the right path.
So let him know that he is on the right path. There's no such thing as a wrong path.
There's no such thing as a wrong path, Marcus.
And that your father keeps saying there was.
Appreciate that.
It was something about, it's not cut and dry. Like it's not black and white. It's not as simple as saying I messed up. There's more to it, meaning there's more to our life experiences than just I'm good or bad.
It's not about messing up, and it's more to the experience about being good or bad or right or wrong.
And that he's saying if you can stop looking at life as if I'm making a good choice or a bad choice and start to expand your belief and your thinking outside that realm of good and bad, you'll be able to make choices from a more intuitive space.
If you can stop looking at whether you're making a good choice, a bad choice, doing the right thing or the wrong thing, looking at it at a wider view, you will be able to start to go within and make things, choices from a very intuitive space.
He's saying because you beat yourself up if you make the wrong choice, and then you never recoup or recover from that to be able to celebrate a quote unquote right choice.
So oftentimes you'll beat yourself up and it's hard for you to recuperate and oftentimes a challenge to celebrate yourself when you are making a quote unquote right choice.
And so being able to remove this good and bad that society has placed on our life and our experiences, and instead see all of it as part of the experience.
Getting rid of that, you can see all of the experience.
Your choices will look different, feel different, will be different.
Your life will be different because your choices will be different.
Do you have children?
I'm looking forward to that.
Miriam asked, do you have children, Marcus?
Do I have children?
Yes.
Yeah, I do. I have 4 boys and 2 girls.
He's saying to keep your focus on them, and that your ability to expand how you
do better than me. That's crazy. My kids they are soaring.
Your ability to see beyond this good and bad is going to help you in continuing to be a role model for your kids.
So being able to look beyond this whole notion of seeing good or bad will allow you to, what did you say, be better for his kids, Miriam?
Be a role model for his kids.
More of a role model for your kids.
So once again, what is it that he wants to say?
My goal.
Now, Miriam asked, once again, what is it that you wanted to say that you did not get a chance to say in your goodbye?
Well, I just want to tell my dad that I heard everything that he told me, all the lessons that he gave me when I when I was growing up, and it's kind of like it just echoes in my head all the time. The stuff that he said, even though I thought it was like it didn't matter, but it just helps me so much today. And I use it. I repeat it so much. I think about the song. He gave me a song when I was a little kid, and I use that song in my life every time I'm out, and it's just amazing how it just keeps me going. Like right now today, and I'm thankful that he was my dad.
He heard everything that you said. I don't need to interpret that he hears everything you said.
He hears everything you say.
And he says, I'm not going anywhere because everything you just said is
out here. I can't be doing that at the bar, Don Day.
He's at the bar crying.
you know I'm too macho for this. I can't be talking to you on Thursday, Don Day. It's all bad for me right now. I gotta walk around the corner.
But he says he's not going anywhere.
I shouldn't have called you. It's crazy. And that's not even what I called to say, really. That just came out.
So he's this was kind of his point exactly, is everything.
I appreciate it. And I know that everything is for a reason. God doesn't make no mistakes.
He's so here's the simple version: is he's not going anywhere.
He's not going anywhere.
He is staying until you pass over,
until you transition,
which will be a long time. I'm not saying that's soon. He's saying I'm here for the long run. And
okay.
And that
I receive that.
He's really focused on this mindset of removing this is a good choice and that's a bad choice, and understanding that there's no such thing as a wrong path.
He's really wants you to focus on that they're getting rid of the whole idea of a good choice or a bad choice, and know that the path that you're on is the right path that you need to be on.
Yeah. So should I go back to work? Because I don't want to go back to work. I got some opportunities that'll keep me away from my job, but kind of like, and business it's a chance. It's a chance.
So he has the opportunity
I know I'm on the right path. I get my lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask you a weird question, Marcus.
Can I ask you a question?
What if I were to ask you, because I feel like he can hear his dad.
Is he your dad, Marcus?
Or see him?
Hear him now?
Can you hear him or see him? Maybe not right now, but do you have instances where you feel like you saw him or that you heard him or can hear him?
Well, I just hear what he says to me. It rings in my head. You my mom too. It just comes. It comes in my head. It just, the things they used to say and the lessons they used to tell me. It's always there, and it's always there.
So let him know that.
It's awesome, but it's kind of like
that is him. That is him.
I need to do, but it's kind of like it's always there.
Miriam says that is you experiencing him.
I think it's like I had a great experience with my dad. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world.
So
he had a hard ending, with everybody going astray, so to speak, his kids. That everybody is good now. So, let's let him know that too. All the sisters are doing well.
So can you let him know that when he has these memories of them,
when you have these memories of him,
him and his mother, that's actually them.
Yeah. We had a good family. We had a good growing up. It's kind of like I never even knew we were poor or from the ghetto until I almost got into high school. I was in junior high school really before I kind of knew about the neighborhood, and we grew up in Watts and all that. I didn't know Watts was bad. It was just a neighborhood to me. We had people down the street, and had a dairy. Nobody have that now. They had the dairy right there. So I had a regular childhood. I tell people that all the time. Even though we did have a project, all the stuff that went on over there, that wasn't us.
So let him know that when his parents when he's remembering things, it's actually them visiting and reminding him that they are there and they are his guides.
So when you are hearing things from your parents, that is them letting you know that they're there and they're reminding you that they are your guides.
It's not just his memory.
Gotcha.
Not just your memory. It's them. Thank you so much, Marcus, for calling in and sharing your story.
Thank you, Don Day. Keep doing what you're doing, bro.
Thank you. Okay.
I'll see you next week.
Yes, indeed. Next week we'll be right here. Same place. All right.
Okay. I'll be there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Wow, Miriam.
That was a lot tonight.
Well, we're talking real life with real people right now. And this is what we're unpacking, real conversations. And I like this, that we had these Toya and Marcus call in, because the topic of the show is all about this excess baggage. And each person that called in talked about this baggage they were carrying, whether it was guilt, whether it was some type of conviction, whether it's shame, confusion. And I feel as though we've gave them a sense with tools and a release to unpack that. To actually have a sense to just breathe a little bit. And I'm sure each person that is watching, each person that is listening can move forward with that whole sense of, hey, maybe this is something I need to let go of. Or, hey, maybe this is something I need to unpack. Hey, all I must hold on to is myself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I want to, for everyone's sake, talk about really quickly what Marcus's dad is awesome, by the way. Like, if I could tap in and use him as a guide, if no one minds, that would be amazing. He has so much to say. He was and everything was so profound. It was like, oh, he was just amazing. But he was saying what he was trying to articulate was that when we view our choices as good and bad, and especially for Marcus in particular, like he was saying, Marcus will make a decision and society decides it's the wrong decision, right? And I'm not saying that I don't know what he's referring to, but yeah, there's some things that aren't right? We shouldn't steal, we shouldn't hurt someone else. Like we get all that, okay? But sometimes we find ourselves in situations and they are not for nothing. They are for something. And so when we get stuck in this was bad and this is good, we judge ourselves based on that. And if I am not in a position in my life for whatever reason to make conscious good choices, whatever that reason is, you then will spiral into I'm awful, I'm awful, I'm awful, I'm awful, I'm awful. If you can look at life and the choices and say, I don't want to make that choice again. So what needs to happen so I don't make that choice again? It's not that that choice was bad. It's I don't want to make that one again. One day I'll share a story. I won't share it now, but for the sake of this conversation, I made a really, really, by society standards, bad choice. And it hurt people. And I have forgiven myself for that because at the time, that was the only choice I consciously could have made. At the level of where I was at in my life, that was the best I could have done. From that moment of that bad choice, I had two choices then: spiral down or spiral up.
Catch it.
And I spiraled up. And I went to forgiving myself first, then forgiving anyone else that was involved. And now it's one of the most profound moments in my life that I'm incredibly grateful for. And I don't say that flippantly. I say that honestly, because now I'm doing better at making conscious choices. So I'm not going to make a choice like that again. I'll make choices that maybe aren't ideal. Of course, I'm human, but I won't go that way again. That I know. And that's what I'm trying to say, to tell Marcus is I look at that decision now and realize it wasn't that it was bad. It was an unconscious decision. And that was the only thing I could have made then, was an unconscious decision, because that's where I was at. It's like if you're in second grade, you can't make a decision on a chemistry project in second grade. You're in second grade. And the same thing goes with our level of consciousness and our level of awareness. When I made that bad choice, I was in fifth grade.
Hey.
And that was the choice of a fifth grader. Well, I'm not in fifth grade anymore. So I'm not going to make a fifth grade decision because I chose to graduate, even though I made some rough decisions. And same with Marcus. You don't make good or bad choices. You make conscious or unconscious choices. And you made some unconscious choices, but now you're becoming conscious. So you're not going to make those choices again, but you're going to make more conscious choices. But the only way to continue to make conscious choices is to forgive. If you don't forgive, you don't give yourself forward to the next moment, and you're stuck in the past.
Hey, which robs you of the present that is our gift. And I don't know about you, Miriam, but I'm working to receive it, because we're here for a good time, not a long time. And that's why we have to make it count. How are we making our lives count? Surely not by holding on to things that don't serve us. We're more than that. We deserve more than that.
100%.
Well, I say we're special offers because we're here for a limited time.
I love that saying. I have no room on my board.
Oh man. Well, another great conversation. One more comment. EJ Banks, blessings to you all. I see you still doing great stuff. You are a blessing to us all. Just wanted to say hi. I'm boarding a flight back home. God bless you, Dawn Day. Oh, EJ, thank you. God bless you. Miriam, we're doing some things.
Thank you, EJ.
That bell.
Oh, my bell. I really love my bell.
Oh.
I wanted to write out all of the I wanted to write out all the stuff you said, but it's going to take too long. It's a lot.
We're gonna, as we unfold and unpack, we're gonna get this flowing. And we also have to ensure so our callers that they can hear. So we're gonna take a moment at some point and figure that out. But they will soon enough indeed. This was great, Miriam.
This was great. Thank you, Dawn.
You know, what do we say? Inspiration, motivation, and intuition.
Mhm.
It's our pyramid, it's our triangle, it's our roof that we're covering ourselves with. Because I feel like with these three elements, there's nothing that we can't do, there's nothing that we can't see, and there's nothing that we can't achieve. If we tap into all three of those pinnacles, they're important. And it's a reminder of us as we move forward in our life to realize that where we are right now is what we're supposed to be. And the best thing that we can do is operate from the space that we are right now and then grow from this space. Oftentimes, we have a thing where we're holding on to past regressions, things that don't serve us. Well, guess what? Now it's time to realize that they don't deserve us. So, bag lady, bag man, I want to take note from Erykah Badu and remind you all you must hold on to is you. So, pack light. All right, Miriam, that's it for the show. Please tell the good people where they can follow you on social media and keep up with you.
Miriam Farish, at Miriam Farish on Instagram, here on YouTube. YouTube and Instagram is where I'm at, and TikTok.
Okay. And then, you can find me on all social media at Dawn DAI Speaks. Also, be sure to check out my podcast, Vitamin D with Dawn Day. It's all about shedding the light on the good and the bad, because if you want to be better and you want to do better, you have to be able to see better. So you better catch it, because it's getting hot, baby. All right, beautiful people, we will see you next week. Same time, same place, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Tell somebody to tell somebody else to get inspired, to get motivated, and tap into that intuition with Dawn Day and Miriam. Until next time, be great, be amazing, be life.
Bye.